Hello, my name is Jake Towne, and I'm an independent congressional candidate for United States Congress in Pennsylvania's 15th Congressional District. Today I would like to speak about solutions with hydraulic fracturing, or commonly known as fracking. One of the most important issues for Pennsylvania in our district is the development of the Marcellus Shale gas formation. The Marcellus formation has the potential to provide for the nation's natural gas needs for a decade or more, not to mention to provide a tremendous economic boon in our state. However, from my travels in the district, the public is not yet highly aware of the full impact of what could easily become a curse instead of a blessing. The purpose of the below is to share my opinion on what should be done both as a citizen and a federal candidate for United States Congress. As a disclaimer, while I do hold a chemical engineering degree from Lehigh University, most of my practical working experience is in the semiconductor industry, not natural gas. Hydraulic fracturing, aka fracking, is done by rupturing shale formations to release gas trapped inside. A water and sand-based solution is forced into the cracks to allow the gas to be captured after the pressure is removed. Wells are repeatedly fracked until the yield of gas is no longer economical. There are four main environmental dangers and concerns involved in fracking, the first two being of the most concern. Number one, proprietary fracking solutions are pumped into the well, are a chemical cocktail including known carcinogens such as benzene and xylene and ethylene glycol, the hazardous chemical and antifreeze, and sometimes even diesel fuel. These chemicals can remain in the ground and migrate into drinking water wells and aquifers, including through the well's casings on the side of the well, and cause serious health problems to all living organisms that it comes in contact with. After a frack, these hazardous chemicals are isolated with the recovered water and dissolve methane gas in settling ponds, which can also leak or evaporate. The natural gas, primarily methane, can migrate through the ground, through well casings, or through the settling process into the water supply. Residents' drinking water from contaminated wells sometimes can be ignited from the faucet with high levels of foul-smelling sediment inside. This firewater can also occur naturally, which highlights the importance of baseline studies prior to any drilling activity. To pressurize the wells, large quantities of water are necessary, in the realm of several millions of gallons per frac. Pumped far below aquifer depth, much of this water will remain trapped in the well. Detailed studies of the impact on local roads from heavy tanker traffic and the local drinking water supply and reservoirs need to be completed, and of course this is of particular concern during droughts. Soil and rock tailings removed from the well during drilling can also contain hazardous chemicals such as arsenic, which have been isolated underground for centuries. While these may be less of a concern than the above, caution and testing is necessary to confirm the tailings themselves are not harmful. Normally, fracking operations would be covered as a Class 1 or Class 2 injection well under the Federal Safe Drinking Water Act. However, in 2005, my competitor, Congressman Charlie Dent, during the Bush-Cheney administration, voted for H.R. 6, which included Section 322, known as the Halliburton loophole, which deregulated hydraulic fracturing from environmental regulations and precautions under the Safe Water Drinking Act. Dent, I should also mention, has accepted campaign donations from Halliburton as PAC Group in 2004. The Environmental Protection Agency, or EPA, has no authority to even monitor the amount, type, or toxicity of the chemicals used in fracking. Here are the solutions that I propose. I will co-sponsor and urge Congressman Dent to immediately co-sponsor H.R. 2766, the Fracturing Responsibility and Awareness of Chemicals Act of 2009. This short bill removes the Halliburton loophole and also specifies that drilling companies must disclose safety-related information about all chemicals used to the public or during a medical emergency. This removes a special privilege granted to special groups. However, number two, I should mention that I view the FRAC Act as only a band-aid that highlights the ineffectiveness of both the EPA and the federal Congress versus the lobbyists. Pennsylvania already has what is known as primacy over the Safe Water Drinking Act, meaning that Pennsylvania's own requirements are equivalent or more stringent than the federal guidelines, and the Safe Water Drinking Act is enforced by the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection, DEP. It is urgent to understand that Pennsylvania, as a sovereign state under the principles of nullification, can override the federal law and pass the FRAC Act and necessary acts or regulations on its own with the state Congress. More localized control will mean more satisfied local residents. Non-toxic fracking solutions should also be developed, or even a new extraction method should be considered. However, this third idea can only be done by private industry, not the government. Fourth, the well casings through aquifer zones must be watertight or even gas-tight and have multiple redundancies for failure. Number 5, drilling companies should clearly be 100% liable for any damages caused to individuals and their property. Unlike the BP oil blowout in the Gulf of Mexico, where there was a $75 million liability limit on oil spills that was created by lobbyists in cahoots with Congress. State Congress should own this action, as U.S. Congress is too slow and also has no constitutional authority over state contract and tort law. Next, localities and landowners could require surety bonds. These surety bond contracts would stipulate that the drilling company should set aside funds in the event that they are liable for damages caused to individuals. In the event of an infraction that should be clearly spelled out in the contract, money is paid directly to individuals currently living on the land. Once the company finishes the well and completes the cleanup procedures, the bond money then fully reverts back to the company. This prevents companies from claiming bankruptcy and creates a valid win-win incentive to safely produce the gas for their management, shareholders, and public alike. Next, drilling company engineers should disclose their FMEAs. FMEA is engineering talk for failure mode effects analysis reports to the public that highlight all of the technical and environmental dangers and the installed safeguards to prevent them. These engineering documents not only list all possible dangers, but also categorize them by level of severity. Lastly, Pennsylvania's state Congress should seriously consider a temporary halt to hydraulic fracturing operations in the state and issue a report to the public addressing concerns. Have baseline soil and groundwater reports been completed? Do the local people agree? And are plebiscites or popular votes necessary? We as a society must also ask who profits from all this. In my opinion, local landowners, future job seekers, and of course the drilling companies, otherwise why produce the gas in the first place, should be the clear winners, not a windfall for the government. In the past, government has usually acted like a private cartel to tax and spend on silly pet projects and bureaucracy, and everyone knows Harrisburg and D.C. would be broke except for the irresponsible money printing. It is my personal opinion that if the gas extraction is to be taxed, it should serve a useful purpose for the people. My suggestion is to have such a tax used for the abolishment of the property tax on primary residences that currently funds the state educational system. Furthermore, such a taxation stream should go first directly to local coffers of the areas affected by the drilling, then directly to local school boards on a per capita basis. This would give localities control over their educational budgets, which are way too highly controlled by Washington and Harrisburg currently, in my opinion. As a federal representative, my job functions are limited by the Constitution, but I feel compelled to make this statement as a candidate for the welfare of the people, as I feel this to be a gravely important topic that will impact every Pennsylvanian's future. Sadly, protecting the environment is falsely perceived as just a compartmentalized wing of the Democrat Party in our failed two-headed, one-party system, instead of a valid concern for all of society. The two ultimate priorities that I have within politics are peace and the environment. However, in many cases, peace has clear precedent over the environment. For instance, our armies starting a nuclear war with Pakistan or Iran have precedence over deforestation in California. For without peace, we cannot really enjoy our environment. Without a clean environment, everyone's standard of living and health is impacted, as I learned while living in the smoggy cities of China for 4 years. As a federal servant for the people, I feel my efforts in office will have the most impact by ending the unconstitutional, nation-building wars in Afghanistan, Pakistan, and Iraq. Yours in liberty, this is Jake Towne. Please feel free to check out Towne for Congress, TOWNE, forcongress.com, to learn more about the campaign. And thank you for your time.